Mm, 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 mm. So every major workflow tool you're using right now, Zapier, Make, Monday Automations, HubSpot Workflows, requires them to stay in business for your operations to function tomorrow morning. That's not automation. That's dependency with a monthly fee attached. So here's the difference between sovereignty and dependency in your business. Why browser automation, which is the unsexy, the unglamorous kind of automation, is the most resilient thing a small operator can build. On April 18th, 2023, Reddit announced it would begin charging for API access, a feature that had been free since 2008. And the new rate was $12,000 per 50 million API requests. That number sounds abstract until you apply it to something real. Apollo was the most popular third-party Reddit app, built by one developer, Christian Selig, if I said his name right, over years of careful work. It had 1.5 million monthly active users, and the app was cleaner, faster, and more capable than Reddit's own official client. And when Selig did the math, again, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Apollo was making 7 billion API requests a month. At $12,000 per 50 million requests, that comes out to $1.7 million a month. $20 million a year for one developer running one app. Apollo shut down June 30th, 2023, which is the day before the new pricing went live. Reddit is Fun shut down. Sync for Reddit shut down. Red Planet shut down. Over 9,000 subreddits went dark in protest. Moderators who had spent years building communities lost the tools they used to manage them overnight. And here's the part that matters most. Selig had been told by Reddit across half a dozen phone calls that the pricing would be fair, that it wouldn't operate like Twitter, where Elon Musk has just eliminated the free API tier and set the cheapest paid option at $42,000 a month. Selig was promised something different. The pricing came in at 20 times what he'd been led to expect. So, the vendor made a business decision, the builder had no recourse. That's the only story about third-party API dependency, told over and over in different apps, different platforms, different years. So here's what browser automation actually is. Strip the industry jargon. A browser operates on the rendered page, which is the thing you see on your screen. It doesn't need an API. It doesn't need a vendor relationship, a webhook, or an authentication handshake. It needs a browser and the page to be up. So Playwright is the library at the core of BeatLogic's automation stack. It controls a real Chromium browser the way a human would. So it clicks, it scrolls, it fills forms, it extracts data, submits requests, and it works at the user interface layer, or UI layer. That layer always exists, even when the API is deprecated, rate limited, or locked behind a $500 per month enterprise contract that got repriced without warning. So that is what no API means when I talk about how BeatLogic is built. Not no code. There's real Python and TypeScript running this. So it's not no server. There is a worker handling executions, but no dependency on a third party's API that can change price, deprecate endpoints, or disappear overnight. So for a real estate operations team running comps, logging leads, monitoring lists, monitoring listing changes, that's the difference between a workflow that's running at 6 a.m. when you open your laptop and one that stopped you at 3 a.m. when a rate limit was hit and no one noticed until the data was wrong. So Reddit was not the first and it will not be the last. Twitter moved first. Every platform with free API access will eventually make the same transition, from growth strategy to monetization strategy. That transition can happen within 30 days notice. It can happen with less. And the operators relying on those tools get no vote. The operators are billed for aren't running API redundancy plans. They're running a 3-person property management company in the 203. They're managing 80 listings, 40 tenant conversations, a calendar that's already full. They're not evaluating vendor risk on a Wednesday afternoon. They need the workflow to run tomorrow, and the week after, and the week after that, without an enterprise contract or a vendor relationship that needs to be renegotiated every time a platform's priorities change. Browser automation built on infrastructure they control, handed to them with documentation and support, is the answer to that operator's actual problem. Apollo built something genuinely excellent and handled the ability to keep it running to Reddit. When Reddit changed the terms, Apollo had no play. The app got 1 million people depending on it every day, and it was gone in 30 days. So I'm not building BeatLogic to hand that same fragility to a third party, and I'm not building automations for operators that route their entire business through a pipe that they don't own. So that's what sovereignty means in practice. I say it every video, damn near. It's not a slogan, it's an architecture decision, and the workflow runs because you own the machine that runs it. The access is yours because it goes through a browser, not an API key that expires. So if you're running your real estate operations, your property management workflow, or your business processes through third-party automations that you don't control, I want to show you what your stack looks like when you own it. BeatLogic runs browser native, no API dependency. It's built for the operator who needs it running Monday morning without a developer on call. DM me, show me your workflow, and I'll show you the difference. I'm Kai from Bridgeport, and this is the Sovereign Architect. See y'all next time, you know what it is.